Anna was going to join.
She said she is, so.
Okay. Let's see if anybody. Thought we'd have hordes of people coming for our last meeting, Julie.
Yeah. Thought they'd all be coming to say farewell.
Praise us for every decision we've ever made.
Well, I'm thinking that.
Okay. Oh, there's Stephanie. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order at 5:02. Julie, do you want to move to approve the agenda?
I will move to approve the agenda.
Okay, I will second it. Do you want to move to approve the minutes?
So moved.
I don't know if it matters. There's a few of the names, my name, Julie's name, and I think Stephanie's name were misspelled in the minutes. I don't think it really matters. Maybe somebody could just like
Correct it.
a quick check
We
for
can
that.
take care of that. Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't catch
my
it.
apologies. I didn't catch
That's
that.
okay.
Is it correct in the up at the headers here? Is that the correct spelling?
Mhm.
Or is
Oh, in the what?
in the agenda? Or excuse me,
Yeah.
in the meeting minutes in the very beginning and the
Oh yeah, those are right. And then
Oh.
Stephanie Allen on at the very bottom. It's ALLAN and also her name Stephanie is her name is just the way Stephanie is normally spelled.
okay. All right. Thank you. My apologies.
Oh, no problem. Okay, but with that, I will second the approval of the minutes. Kelly seems to be an attendee. Is she
Yeah,
supposed
we can bump her up.
Okay.
She raised her hand, but Carol, can you bump Kelly over?
Sure.
Okay, great. And then Ray Yep is here, and then Stephanie, will you raise your hand if you are here for public comment, Stephanie? Give her a second, and Ray, welcome.
Thank you.
You're here for public comment, Ray?
No, I'm just here to listen.
Oh, you are, okay. Then Carol, do you mind sending Ray back to the participant?
I didn't do that,
Oh,
but I will fix that.
Hmm.
Maybe I did.
There you go. Okay. There's Kelly. Okay. All right. Well, then I don't see anybody here for public comment, so we'll move to the discussion item. John.
Yeah, let me share my screen. So we just wanted to talk, actually, you know what, I don't have the agenda in front of me. Give me one moment. So the first item is the presentation. I'm sorry, somebody help me here.
Yeah, it's the only item, John.
Okay, thank you. I thought so. I'm not fully clear yet, so.
That's okay.
Okay, we just wanted to take a few minutes really to kind of go over really some of the successes of this facility subcommittee, but more importantly, to sort of really delineate the framework and the value of this facility subcommittee. We know that both of you are leaving the board and we'll have new board members. So we thought we would take a moment to kind of go over what we do here, right? And the importance of having the ability to vet these things and have these conversations here at the subcommittee. So with that, we put together a few slides. So since 2017, under Measure I, there's been 27 projects completed worth about $86 million. The future projects of Measure G, I'm getting a lot of feedback. I'm not sure.
yeah. You know what? Carol, can you mute?
Okay, thank you. The future projects under Measure G, currently there's approximately 18 projects that have been authorized for that total bond measure of 380 million. And if I remember correctly, I didn't put the number on here, but I believe 240 million of that 380 is actually allocated to projects already. So meaning that they're projects that are either well into design or actually we're just beginning to discuss the designs around them. So Oxford Elementary School at West Campus, increment 1, increment 2, and increment 3, right? That was all in total about $24 million. And if you guys remember, this project was originally a $6 million very minor modernization. And with that came we got the landslide deformation report. So we had a lot of conversations in subcommittee, and we were able to get through this and really understood the need to actually build this campus out further. There was a tremendous amount of support in subcommittee for how we built this, and it made this project so successful. Berkeley High School football field, Martin Luther King auditorium. The auditorium was a complete modernization, but also brought the technology well into this century, and it's just an amazing space now. Willard CTE, we just finished this. This is a beautiful space. The
So
growing.
John, sorry
Yes.
to interrupt. Can I ask you a quick question? So Measure I and Measure G, is this all Measure I, or is this some spattering of Measure G as well?
It's some spattering of Measure G as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said I though, John.
I'm sorry.
The first set is I right now.
Yes. The CTE space, Ty, Julie, I don't know if either one of you have been able to get up there and see that, but this is for the
No.
Growing Leaders program, Matt Sang's program. It's really an amazing program that he's running up there. And we went and looked at it a few years back, and the program was amazing, and the kids love it. And they kind of fight to get into this program. And they were operating in a really small, or it's this classroom, but it was a 1970s home ec room that had never been touched. And it was just in really, really bad shape, to the point the amount of water damage, you could just push your hand right through the countertops. So that was a summer sprint project that we did this past summer. Sylvia Mendez modernization. This is Measure G. This is currently in design. We actually just set up some community meetings for November 15th. We've met with the community previously, but we're going back to them to share with them designs and timelines now. We anticipate going into DSA. I believe we have our appointment to submit to DSA in early December. And with that, we anticipate that we will be out of DSA hopefully around May to June. And this is being delivered as lease back. Another thing that we've done under this facility subcommittee that's definitely helped our projects. The high school community theater is Measure I. You guys know this project very well. We've talked in great deal about it. These are some older photos, unfortunately, but we're close. Right now, we are on target to open for January, to open up the classroom wing, with about 2 weeks worth of work remaining under the stage in the beginning of the school year, but that's out of the classroom wing. There are some challenges that we're seeing right now. We have a meeting tomorrow regarding procurement. There's more delays that we're being informed of, but we'll find out more tomorrow. And this is an amazing project, basically building a ship in the bottle. As you see from that middle picture, and really the left picture as well, we cored the building, left all the exterior walls, and just cored down to dirt, dug it out deeper, and rebuilt it from the inside.
John, so do you expect students to be in there in January?
Yeah, right now that we're actually starting to put together a move plan for over the holidays, so that we can reopen that classroom wing for January, so that teachers can be moved in and students can be in there as well.
That's great. I can't wait to see it.
Can I interrupt for a sec?
Please.
I got to see it yesterday as
Oh,
part
did you?
of, yeah, I'm on the CTE advisory committee.
Okay.
And when, can you go back? And when did, we had 4 teachers who were going to be there, and the CT advisory committee, and we walked through there and see where the boards are kind of going across the elevator shaft. As we were standing right there, and it's all built out now, and it's phenomenal.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like my daughter was in this building when she was in band, you know, in 2010 to 2014. And it was a scary building. It's gorgeous. You guys, you know, the architect team, the builders, the teachers, everybody have just done a phenomenal job of designing and laying out this building. It's just going to be, it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, wow. I can't.
Well, I'm
remember.
really glad you got to attend that. Stephanie Allen had approached me a while back about putting together that tour, and we did. And I was really bummed out that I couldn't join the CTE advisory committee. I know Molly Burke, she was able to facilitate the tour. And I'll tell you, this project has really been an all hands on deck, right? Everyone from our facilities subcommittee to vetting this project out so much in the beginning. We had so much conversations. Our design team has been absolutely amazing. Van Pelt has been great. I've been very involved with the contractor throughout the whole process. Shanita's been doing all the procurement, and she's working wildly on that right now for all of the furniture, fixtures, and equipment that are going in there. So this is really, and Carol has just been there the whole time to like support us all and keep us on track, right? So this has definitely been one of those projects that shows that while we have this great department and this great team that can work collaboratively, without the facilities subcommittee in place, making this project come to fruition would have been really difficult to do. Stephanie Allen raised her hand. I don't know if anybody wants to, since she was so involved in this project.
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay. Carol, can you promote her so that she can speak?
She's allowed to talk now.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I had to miss the tour yesterday also. We don't see in here, I don't know if Julie saw it, the scene shop. But the scene shop that will be in there will be a professional scene shop, and with some accommodations by the board in the future. And when we do the seismic upgrading of the bowl, we can look at renting that theater out in the future. Because it will be upgraded to a 21st century professional status. It's very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to being able to go through there. And our advisory board partners were really critical in helping us design and buy equipment for it. It will also provide an alternate classroom for the carpentry program, which we have not been able to expand despite a huge amount of student interest. We just can't accommodate all the kids who want to take the class. But with the opening of the scene shop, we'll be able to add another section of carpentry. That's all.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
They
Stephanie.
also, the digital media program will go over the collaboration between the capital project and the CTE program has just been wonderful. And I think the teachers feel like it's responsive to what they need. It'll be great for the students. And I think as Stephanie said, you know, the crosswalk between what kids are learning in the classroom and having these, you know, state-of-the-art classroom and then being able to bridge that out into the community is extremely valuable to their experience. And also there's a nice big banner for the Carpenters Union on the building now, and there's apprenticeships, you know, in the capital project, in the construction, so our kids can see what pathway they've got immediately in the sense of being able to become carpenters.
Yeah,
So
and
thank you for helping to set that up, Shanita and John.
Yeah, and we've worked actually with WIN to bring some of the CTE students through here during construction as well, whether they were in the carpentry class or even some of the design CAD students we've brought through. To talk a little bit about the scene shop that Stephanie was just talking about, to give you an idea of how advanced this scene shop is. I remember when Fernando asked for a certain piece of equipment, and you know, I sat there baffled, and I'm like, what on earth is that? And nobody knew. And Shanita came in and she said, well, I actually did my research and I talked to the company and they mentioned that Disney has it, right? And it's this vacuum form machine for making sets. So it's really advanced equipment that's going to give our students the leg up when they go into the industry. Also, it's important to note that I've been talking to Kelly and Prachi, who are on this call, and in addition to being amazing program managers, they both love to throw parties, right? So they're going to help us, and we're actually looking to do a grand opening for the public at large in early January and open up the theater on a Saturday and just bring the public in to view and see, really to see their Measure I and Measure G dollars at work.
That's great. That's great. All right.
Berkeley High School tennis and parking structure. We've spoken about this very much. But again, this is one that's been vetted through subcommittee and through the board, more than subcommittee, so many times that it's really just, it's through that work that we're able to make these projects come to fruition. Workforce housing, we're talking about it on Wednesday night at the board. We're currently at a point where we're going to the city for entitlements. And, you know, this is really, there's been a lot done with the board and with our subcommittee, but Julie, I want to thank you. You've really been the champion of this project. And this is an amazing project, right? It's 110 units of affordable housing for our educators that is scheduled to break ground in 2025, if I remember correctly. Prachi can tell me if she's given me, I said it right. So we're really looking forward to building out this project as well.
Wait. It's not gonna break ground until 2025?
Or opening in 25. I always
Okay.
mess this up. Prachi, jump in. Which one is it?
You're gonna give me a heart attack.
We're opening in 25.
Yeah,
Correct.
Right.
We start
Yeah.
construction fall 24.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Sorry, the years just sort of run together at this point, Julie. I
that's-
apologize. But
that's
and then
sooner than-
here's
Oh, sorry, go ahead, John. And
here's
welcome
a
to
list
everyone.
of the
Welcome.
Measure D projects, all of which that we have vetted through this subcommittee and had extensive conversation about, and that have been authorized. This is what totally encumbers that $245 million of Measure G that's been encumbered so far. So again, we just really wanted to say thank you, but just stress the role for future board members or future subcommittee members of the importance of this subcommittee and being able to work collaboratively. And with that, I will stop sharing. I know Superintendent Ford Morthell is able to join us. I don't know if she wants to say anything.
You're muted, Superintendent.
I knew that, Ty. I didn't know that. I actually am having a really hard time having a decent and stable internet connection. So sorry that my camera was off. I was kind of going off and on because I was wanting to hear the presentation. But I just wanted to come and say hello and introduce myself to the folks that I don't know. So hello, I'm Inikia. I'm super excited about the work that this committee has done and is doing, and was happy to hear about the projects that were just shared. One of the things that I think about a lot when I think about education is that folks oftentimes just think about the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and don't really think about or understand how important facility and space is to the educational experience. I oftentimes think about this idea that form follows function, and the example that we just were hearing about the building that's going up at BHS that I have not yet gotten to tour, Julie. So you and some of the other ones are the lucky ones. I see it. I see the work happening whenever I'm at BHS, but I haven't gotten to go inside. But it's a testament to how we really should create space that is in service of what we want our babies to experience and do. And that building is a prime example of that. So just wanted to come and say hello. I'm a champion of this work, but also want you all to know how important this work is. And it's not separate. It's not just about buildings, but it's really about the way that we understand and appreciate how space and environment, again, really can support and enhance the learning experiences of the students that we serve. So hello, nice to meet you all, and looking forward to partnering with you in future committee meetings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, I do want to mention, you know, I mean, we're thanking you, Julie and Ty, for all of the hard work that you guys have put in for over the years on this. But, you know, Judy Appel has been a real champion, former board member for facilities as well. We greatly appreciate that. We have an amazing team in facilities. Shanita has been here for 15, 16 years. I always lose track. 14. It's something like that. She's shaking her head.
18.
18. Okay, 18. So, you know, Shanita is amazing, and she's definitely sort of a steel trap for information. Anything I need to know, Shanita has the background on it. Carol, again, she's amazing at supporting us, but we couldn't do the work without the team. Van Pelt has been with Berkeley Unified for many years. Chris Moreno, who is not here tonight, he's been in the district for, I believe, 9 years, and almost all of the projects that we have done or that we even talked about tonight, like including the entire south of Bancroft project, where the football stadium is at the high school. Chris Moreno was on those projects, and he's done an amazing job. Karen Hempfell, if I recall, she was on the board as I joined the district, but I think she may have been on facilities subcommittee as well. So I want to say thank you to everyone, and just I look forward to continuing this work, and just really bravo to you guys. So thank you.
Well, John, we didn't really do all that much. I mean, it's you all who are doing it. So we appreciate it, but you all are the ones doing the work, and we're just happy to support it. We're not done, right? There's 2 other, or are we done?
With facility sub, I believe this was your last meeting.
No, I mean of the agenda.
Sorry. You know what? I'm looking for the agenda, so just bear with me. I'm sorry. Also, one person I did leave out, but as I mentioned, I talk about the entire Van Pelt team, but Molly Burke has been living at the community theater. Basically, she's been there every day from morning till night for the last 2 years or a year and a half, and she has done an absolutely amazing job. The complexity of that project it's been quite challenging. So it's been great to have her out there full time. Looks like Carol just sent me the agenda, so I apologize. Being a little under the weather, I don't have everything in
No,
front
that's
of me.
okay. I just see update on scope of various projects, update on project schedules, and update on parking structure options.
Thank you, Ty. So on various projects, everything is on schedule right now. There is some concern, again, around the community theater, just with the final items of procurement. We have a meeting tomorrow afternoon to discuss it, and I'll get more of an update there. On the parking structure, we've been talking to the city. We continue to talk to the city, and we're also continuing to talk to legal, because there's quite a lot of legal challenges around trying to frame this and trying to create a partnership with the city. But it is something that, as we've discussed, Ty and Julie, we've been working with the city for quite some time. It's now been elevated, which has been helpful. You've been in some of the meetings, and it's been great, and we'll just keep continuing to work on this and move it forward.
Okay. So on this meeting, you're not giving us that yellow and green, purple and yellow schedule?
We hadn't intended to, because there was no changes since we've taken it to the board, and we're not anticipating any changes.
Okay.
We were able to vet the projects with you guys that are all on the Measure G list, and that's going to keep this team quite busy for the next few years. That adding any more projects right now, unless they're emergency projects, we don't see. We don't have any in the immediate future.
Okay.
So
Julie-
John,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, can I ask, in the sense
Yeah,
of
you can.
the Longfellow project, is it on track and?
It is. It's also scheduled to go into DSA late November, early December. So that is on track as well. We'll have 2 major modernizations happening roughly simultaneously, and that is Sylvia Mendez and Longfellow. Sylvia Mendez both schools are going to be quite the challenge as it relates to interim housing. Longfellow currently has enough space that we'll be able to do phasing without putting interim housing on the campus. That was always the plan. It was created with Principal Furlon. Unfortunately, he moved over to another school, but we've been working with Salita Mitchell. Sylvia Mendez, it's a small footprint, just like Longfellow. There's not a lot of room for interim housing. We are currently designing interim housing to go there, but we've also been looking at 2 other options for the last year, one of which is neighboring districts to see if anyone has a school that may be coming available that we could use. And the other is possibly doing a co-campus with the adult school. We're still exploring both of those. We'll have some more information next week on the adult school. The co-campus, we will not, an out-of-district campus, we won't have anything definitive till January. We won't know. So we are planning on interim housing on the site, but if we can find another campus in a neighboring district, we will look to go that route. The interim housing is the least of the best options. If we could release that site fully and move the entire school site off of that campus, one, it's from with the feedback we're getting, it's actually what the community would prefer, because they're going to lose all of their blacktop to portables. And also, if we do it as a phased project, it's really 3 summers and 2 full school years to do Sylvia Mendez. Whereas if we move everyone off that site, it's 2 summers and 1 year. So, and it would also save the district a considerable amount of money on the project.
So, for Sylvia Mendez, oh, shoot, I just lost my train of thought. If you did the, neighboring district, I mean, has the school community been surveyed around what it would mean to go to a school in a neighboring district?
There hasn't been a formal survey put out. We've had conversations with leadership at the school. We've also had conversations with the PTA. We will do that, but we don't want to do that until we know for sure if one is available. We don't want to give any false hope, because the feedback that we've gotten so far, Julie, is that that's the preferred model. And with that model, we've also been talking to a commercial transportation provider for busing, because we know that we would have to offer busing for all the students, and our transportation department couldn't handle that. They're already full.
And would, if the option was to co-locate at the adult school, would that impact the groundbreaking for the housing?
No.
Because how long the construction will be, a year?
Yeah, they will be there while we ground break for the housing, but it wouldn't impact the housing project at all.
Okay.
So
Okie dokie.
Prachi,
there's a lot of moving pieces for the adult school. It's really, and to be very frank, it's challenging, because like we walked the adult school to really get a good idea, but beyond the blueprints of all the different nooks and crannies and spaces. We got a class list. We spent several hours actually formulating a plan, and then not even 20 minutes after we finished this plan, we got an updated class list that basically had us to go back to square one. So we're trying to work it, because besides for the actual need for space at the adult school, we have to figure out a way to separate the two schools with a barrier, because we can't co-opt adult education and K-12.
And has Berkeley Adult School come back in force in person, or do they still have a lot of remote going on?
They still have a lot of remote. They have brought more back this year, but it's still a lot of remote classes that are happening over there. And then there's also a lot of specific classes over there that make it very challenging as well, such as we have several CTE classes over there that, while we can very easily move an EL class or a different type of class, we can't necessarily move the mechatronics class, or nor would we want to, right? The EMT class, we have some flexibility, but it's a lot of pieces to try to figure out to this puzzle.
Right, and some of those CTE classes are Berkeley High students, and some of them are not,
Adult
right?
education.
Adult education.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
did you say we're gonna have a presentation about workforce housing at the next board meeting?
Yeah, we do have a presentation at the next board meeting. It's just an update to share with the board as well as the community at large, the renderings, and just a high level overview of what's being brought to the city right now for entitlements. And we'll also share a schedule.
And a timeline?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there going to be a timeline and process for the governing committee to start talking about conditions for, because I won't be there to like prod you anymore, John.
So you can prod all you want, it's okay. But Prachi will tell you, because she's seen all the emails and the requests, we finally got 3 of the 4 members that we need. We're still waiting on one more member from one of our labor partners, but we are scheduled for the first meeting. Prachi, do you recall what the date is? No, okay.
Maybe just include it in the presentation.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's been a little difficult to get, not the buy-in from the labor partners. Obviously, they're very excited about the project. It's just for them, it's been trying to figure out who the right people are, because ultimately they're going to have a hand in making a recommendation for the governance for the board. And that basically affects all of their members for many years to come.
Are we letting the community know about the presentation on Wednesday at the board meeting?
We haven't done anything beyond our typical board meeting. I honestly didn't even think to do it. Our board meeting notification. We can work with Trish to see if she can send out a blast though.
So what we're presenting to the board is what we presented at the very last meeting with the community. And then after the board meeting, we have one more meeting with the community.
It just seems like, that's great. It seems like there's no harm in whatever list you're sending the community meeting information to also let them know that, because they may want to, it's one thing to have a presentation to them. It's another for them to see the presentation to the board and see the board members' questions and comments and your responses to the board. So.
No, it's a great point. I
don't think
appreciate it.
I don't think they have ever complained that they've gotten too much communication about any of this stuff, so.
No, so the community meetings are, they actually belong, if you will, to the developer. They're the developers' meetings, but we'll work with the developer to send something out through their listserv to alert them to this presentation.
I think that'd be great. Julie, do you have any other questions or comments about anything?
No, just make sure Councilmember Kasarwani is included in the email for the board presentation because it's in her district, and she can also help push out communication.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, Julie, anything else on any topic?
I don't think so.
Okay. And so John, then there's nothing else from you?
No, beyond that, honestly, it's just sincere thanks for both of you and for my entire team, who I'm sure I missed some folks and I tried really hard not to, but we just couldn't do this work without them. So, and thank you, Superintendent, for your support as well.
Yeah, this has been a great committee to be on, and it's facilities is great because you can see the tangible. So you can see what we've done and what we've spent, you know, the generous funding from the voters on, and that's exciting. And as the superintendent said, that's what makes the learning happen. If it can happen, it has to be in a space where that's conducive to learning. And
yeah, you know, I spoke with Stephanie Allen earlier today, who I also want to thank, right? Because she's been such a huge proponent. Same with Ray, yeah. But Stephanie said something that really resonated with me, and that's what Tim White used to always tell her, which was his facilities, he simply got to build the stage on which the teachers would then perform their magic. And I think that's so true, right? Because it's our job to make that happen, and that's what we try to do here.
Yeah, well, thank you so much to all of you. And Julie, it's been fun to be on this committee with you.
Yeah. So I also, you know, kind of want to echo that. I appreciate the appreciation and the thanks, but it's the staff that, you know, make the magic happen. And so I think that, you know, you guys have a tremendous amount of expertise. And while, you know, the patience with us, you know, peppering you with a million questions, especially when we're not in the field and we're just, you know, trying to understand, and also dealing with our stakeholders and our community to try to, you know, help make people understand, you know, the complexities of building buildings, and land use issues are no small feat. So, you know, we might, you know, make great advances. We might make a few, you know, missteps in communication, but I think the collective will and commitment of this organization and of the staff from your, you know, 1 to 2 to 18 years of being here is your commitment to our kids is just, you know, it's tireless and persistent. And I appreciate it. And so thank you guys. And it's always fun to be on a committee with Ty because I never get tired of his jokes.
Shanita, do you want to have the last word?
Sure. I want to thank everyone. This has been an excellent committee. I've been here since the inception of the committee. I understand the creation of the committee was just based upon to give facilities more time to vet our projects and to give the public an opportunity to just hear more about what we're doing. I also want to congratulate John, who will have been here for 4 years and a couple weeks. So kudos to John and Carol. We appreciate all your work, and from the Van Pelt team. There's no way that we will be able to get everything done without the help of everyone. And Ty, Julie, I definitely appreciate all of the support that you guys have given to our community and facilities in general. Thank you.
All right, well said, Shanita. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll adjourn. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.